Alright, greetings everyone. This is Bomani Tayimba, and welcome to our Africa for the Africans Tourism Investment, Ghana, Repatriation and Investment Tour October 2015 conference call. And today's date is February 15th, 2015, and our conference call time frame is from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And during this session, we just go through all the need to know and all important and all updates for our upcoming journey. So the purpose of the conference call is to communicate with everyone that's interested in our Ghana October 2015 tour, to share information about all the need to know before you go, and to get everyone connected with each other. Right? And a list of topics was sent out, about 21 topics, and it's the same topics we've gone over the last two conference call, except certain parts we've gone into more in depth, and the conversations are usually a little bit different, but everything is all in the same essence, right? So I'm going to be your conference call administrator for tonight, and along with me also on the call is Ron Bizzle, and Ron also came to Ghana with us last year, and he'll be coming to Ghana with us this year, and he's the assistant organizer. So when we're on the trip, if you have any questions, or if you just need to know anything, or just even right now during this time frame when we're in the US, you can just call us. You can call me at any time, and you also can reach out to Ron, and later on he'll give you his flexibility when he can accept calls. Before I go any further, everyone, I ask you if you can just mute your background so we can have a clean recording. And I want to talk about a little bit about myself. This February marked my 10th year as an entrepreneur. The two businesses that I started is what I do still to this day is Bomani IT Service and Consultation, and Africa for the Africans Tourism Investment. And altogether we provide this great level of business and technology services, including consultation, and we do things thing we kind of put together, which is to get people who want to live and do business in Africa properly through our vast network that we have built over 10 years. We do it gracefully using the highest level of technology. So what I was talking about is my 10 years as an entrepreneur, and we keep ourselves available to help people build business. As we see the world change and things become more dependent on the African continent resources, we see the rush of everybody in the world, mainly the Europeans and Asians, just at the gateway in Africa, and just making big moves. So the investment part of what we talk about all the time is not to put any pressure on anyone, but it's just to let everyone know that there are great opportunities, and if you're interested in doing certain things, we can all work together to make certain moves, or we can help you do what you're looking to do. I felt do tours or take our people to the African continent, we don't emphasize on that much as far as the living and doing business in Africa. So my journey as an entrepreneur really started with wanting to build an IT firm, and a firm that you can make work for yourself in somewhere like Ghana, and you can take your time and build onto it, but at the same time too you can reach out to your brothers and sisters in the diaspora, and also your brothers and sisters there in Ghana, and kind of just put your energy together and make wonderful things happen. So partnership is just wonderful things that that can happen once we just open ourselves up and enjoy a journey like what we offer. And at the same time too, the most important thing is just being prepared for it. So reaching out to everyone so we can all get to know each other a little better and share certain things. That way, when we're on the journey, everything runs a lot smoother. So throughout the time frame when I'm while we're here in the US, I'm usually doing IT service appointments, and doing meetings and getting things set up for our tour, arranging flights, laying things out, updating the website, doing all your day-to-day business. And I keep myself available, so you can reach out to me at any time if we need to talk about anything, or get go to clarity, or just anything that we need to communicate about. The goal is for us to just be ready and be on standby, especially when if you have friends and you start sharing information with them, let them know that you're traveling to Africa. Different people have different crowd that might, they might feel a different way. Whenever you run into anyone that's, they try to challenge you or try to just scare you off or whatever, you can always have them talk to me or come and communicate with me and just let me know what they're talking about. Last year with the situation with Ebola, it was really just terrible the way, instead of this, say I'm going to reach out to Bomani, he has everything organized, let me at least talk to him. People took the words and the energy of everybody else, from the radio stations to the TV stations to everybody that was just in the gossip of this misinformation. So I keep myself, as an entrepreneur, so we can do business as effective as possible. And while I'm here in the U.S., I'm in 100% work mode. This is what I love to do, and the more we feel like we can do business efficient when we make our move to Ghana, the more efficient we can do things there. So while we're still building things up to make the move to Ghana, we have wonderful people like Sister Amicus, David, Sister Nunet in our network that can help anybody do the full move, and they're always there as our host to welcome us, and we just keep everything going. So I'm gonna pass things off to Ron. Just wanted to share the energy of what we like to do and what we do, about us. The reference for About Us is on the website, on About Us on the main menu. But Ron Bizzle, I wanted just to share some information about yourself, different from what we've talked about the last 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, Kwaba, that's welcome in Twi language. You hear that a lot when you do visit the motherland. My name is Ron Bizzle, Director of Africa Hands-On Incorporated, Community Development West Africa, primarily in Senegal and branching out to Ghana, with the help of my brother Bomani. And Systemicus last year during my 2014 tour. You can make some connections in that manner. I was raised in the U.S., educated in the U.S., re-educated in the U.S. I've been traveling to West Africa since the mid-1990s and doing business in Senegal, community development, small businesses primarily. I'm just here to assist, brother, in helping people either to create their new paradise if they wish to do so, and others who wants to trade in that 9 to 5 here in the matrix and just try something new. Just take that adventure, just make that adventure in their journey to the motherland. And I found it through Omani's connection. I can reconnect with my brothers and sisters down there in Ghana.
Appreciate you just doing what we wish a lot more people would do. When you called me in 2013 and say you were interested in traveling to Ghana in 2014, you went through all the details, and and you're a professional traveler in West Africa, so what you basically knew what you were looking for, and you found us, and we connected, and you appreciate you coming aboard so we can kind of expand things in Ghana, and take things to another level. And you've been to both places now, both countries now. Do you see a big difference in Ghana, Senegal?
Yes, definitely the cultures are quite the same, and then so much difference in different facets. But I waited a whole year to venture to Ghana because I wanted to travel with Africa for the African. I purposely waited because I wanted to make some good, clean connections and really get a good opportunity to get my vision straight, so I can think forward while I'm there in Ghana and make sure I don't spin my wheels, so to speak. So I waited purposely. I could have went on before that, but I did my research and found out how many connections and different types of good people that's going to steer me in the right way when I do reach on the land of Ghana. And so I waited, and it was well worth waiting for. And I'm still doing my search now. I'm going to return, and by the grace of the Almighty, 2015, and continue to do my work and go out on this journey. And like I say, just hopefully that those people were conscious enough to see that the advantage of taking that pill, that adventure pill, I call it, and just get that passport and that visa, and try something new, and try it with the motherland. This is a good place to start and well travel. You should go to your place of origin at least once in a lifetime. You can afford it. I yield to you, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate your energy, and as you talk about your experience, my experience traveling to Africa first, I went to Senegal. It was actually in March 2004. It was myself and like about 4 or 5 other co-workers, and it was it wasn't fancy like that the journey that we have. It was like so it was a roughing it journey. But the thing of it is, I had an option to go to Gorée Island. I was never the same once I went to a place like that of where ancestors were enslaved and were captive for months upon months. But at the same time too, I saw the necessary of the story being shared in its clarity. You actually go into the land, going to actual location of enslaved ancestors in locations where they were held captive, and that really just first it really just clarified a lot of things, and just being there on African continent, it opens the eye up to a lot of different things, and it's when you deal with good people, it's always good energy. My next journey was to Egypt, another wonderful journey on a trip led by Dr. Ranoko Rashidi in April of 2004, and then just continued traveling. Went to Senegal and South Africa in May of 2005, and also went back there in November, and was able to go to Kenya for 2 days. In 2006, got a chance to go to the Gambia. Is right there by Senegal, and Ron.
It's an easy country to get around in. There's English is spoken there quite broad. That's official language there also. It's a very interesting and growing, prosperous place. Very, very, very pro-black. The president is very, very, he's about ready to get a lot of folks out of there. But I tell you what, it's a marvelous place to visit. It's a small country, and I didn't do any of the festivals, but I go there probably every 2 years. I go to the Gambia.
Yeah, they have actually, as a matter of fact, there's a 2016 version of the Roots Festival. I'm not sure it all plays out, but the Gambia is a vibrant country. It actually reminded me of this, emerging from Kingston, Jamaica, and it just reminded me of Jamaica. And when I went there, I was like, I never knew there was a little Jamaica right there in the heart of West Africa. And it was magical. And these are the things that you're able to connect with when you open your mind up and experience the world and experience your culture. It doesn't make sense when we have everyone else that's so much interested in our culture, and sometimes a lot in us. So we're here to just lay it out for everybody. All the experience I've had traveling around the African continent and just the different parts of the world. I just want to share it with our brothers and sisters. And a lot of times, most of the people that's traveling with us, it's their first time really just leaving out the country besides us, going to the Caribbean. And we want to do our best to share all of our wonderful experience, and just be someone that will just help people just see things clearer and get through certain change of culture, or the change of how things is. It is, Ron. You can go to 10 different countries, and then the culture are different from the other 10.
Yes, one of the major things you want to keep in mind that they need to get to the motherland soon, because a lot of the cultures are disappearing quick. They're disappearing, and so it's quite important to get there because of this new thing that's like like it happens in a lot of societies. A lot of societies, the cultures have disappeared, and people give up the old way. You want to get the feelings beautiful culture that is still there.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more that we show interest in our culture, and the more we work together to preserve our history in its place, the stronger we'll be as a people. And as I close on that, wanted to let everyone know that all of the documentation that we have done 9 tours to Ghana, and all 9 galleries of photos from from the beginning of the tour to the end of the tour is right there on Facebook, on the albums on my Facebook page, which you can access from the website. Now the YouTube page, I have over 335 videos, and the last set of videos that we've had are more like audio slideshow, where it's whether it's an interview, a conference call, or us being on a radio show. And all those information is us sharing all of the details, need to know, preparation, clarity, sharing information about us. That way everyone that's coming on the journey can just have full clarity on what journey they're taking, and about the people that they're dealing with, and all the vast opportunities that are available, and the wide network that we have built. And beyond those last few recordings, the journey that we took was the Ghana October 2014 journey, and we have highlights of all of the major part of the journey. These documentation, the journey and the framework of everything is laid out, but the more you prepare yourself, the more you take part into certain things, the more you kind of lay a plan out of what you probably want to do if you're looking to retire, or if you're looking to start a business, or if you're looking to do partnership or things like that. And the preparation starts now, and we have details laid out in all those directions. Now, as far as repatriation, we have a lot of videos on that, but if someone needs to talk to someone personally, which is going to be either David or Imacus or our tour guide, or 1 or 2 people that we have set up, we'll break down whatever the cost is, or just put together a package, and they'll help you personally and get all the things you need set up. And we try to offer as many things efficiently, that way, and be as reasonable as possible, especially when people looking to live and do business in Africa. That way, people don't feel like they have to take shortcuts and deal with people that they don't know and things like that. But the unfortunate thing is, we do a lot of things for free, but what we charge for is tours and consultation, and the consultation isn't always done by me. They're done more by my people there in Ghana, Imacus and Brother David, that hosts the Business and Investment Conference. And really, it's all about what you need, but I'm the initial person you talk to, so I can get things organized for you. Our goal is to make sure that everybody that connects with us is successful in doing business there in Ghana. So documentation of the videos, it covers so many details and so many information, so it's there for everybody to just speed up on. Right, and what I want to do from here on is to go into the documentation on the website. Now, our website, africafortheafricans.org, we have a MP3 player with what my brother called African Caribbean music, and it's over 100 tracks, and it's just there to keep you focused, keep you energized, and keep the spirit of Africa roots and culture in you, while you're looking at the details, which is everything else from there is really just text based. So once you go down to the main menu, you just click on Ghana Tour October 2015, and the page is going to open up, and you're going to see a list of 9 different documentation and where all of your tour information is. The tour overview, it's going to give you all you need to know about what's in the package of the tour we're going on, and the 4 different regions broken down. And the next one is the general terms. The general terms, it's a few extra pages, but it tells about all the base of the responsibilities of everybody that's covered, and all the need to know as far as registration, deposit, cancellation, and just anything that you can think of that you need to know before you actually commit yourself to the journey. The itinerary is a nice 14-day layout. It showcases 4 different hotels that we go to, and has the links to their website. And for the most part, it's the same hotels that we have gone to, with the exception of the one we're going to in the Brong Ahafo region, which is the second part of our tour. And that part of the tour actually replaced what we used to do in the eastern region. We used to go to a location called Fiancra, but unfortunately we weren't able to keep that program, and we wanted to do something more based on sustainable living. And our sister Nunette of Benue Village in Techiman, right in the Brong Ahafo region, was a perfect connection to expand our program. So you're gonna see all of that right there on the itinerary right once we leave Accra. And the unique thing of the itinerary, it gives you all the main things that we're looking to do on a day-to-day basis. But at the same, we have a lot of things that we just didn't put on the itinerary that we're gonna do. We have different land sites we're gonna go to, and we're looking to just connect to different people who have just moved to different places, and we're gonna make our way around the country. And our goal is to really also showcase to you what our people in the diaspora have done there in Ghana. So whether it's schools that have built, restaurants that have opened up, lodges, hotels, nightclub, restaurants, we'll make sure that we'll go around, and also at the same time too, the rest of the things are owned by Ghanaians. But we're looking to give you a black cultural experience. Ron, how was your cultural experience? Based on what I was talking about a little while ago, I've gone around and meeting your people along the itinerary that own the different things that's on the itinerary.
The business people, many of them are from the diaspora. I think virtually all of them except for one. And they I'm talking about the Institutes of Learning, and all of them are started by people from either some from the Americas, or pretty much sure they're all Caribbean and the U.S. But that's quite interesting to see that how much they have built over there. Their patriot built, and it's a pretty wonderful thing that you're really proud to see all the work that they put in, and that they're reaping from all the work. So it's really good thing.
Appreciate your energy, brother. And before I go into what we're looking to talk about in extensive is the Ghana visa, does anybody have any questions about anything we have talked about or share before we continue? And also, if you're not talking or communicating, please put your phone on mute or just quiet your background. All right, Fanta, go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
I had you said that if anyone wanted to speak with you, just like step by step, or just more information on being able to repatriate, to live in Ghana. And then also, if I had a vision of me living in Ghana, obviously, I'll be coming out here sometimes, but not all the time, but I want my home in Ghana. Anyway, do you have someone for you to talk more to about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I just mentioned two people. What we do is and great question also, because the thing of it is, when you're looking to do certain things in another country, you wanna know as much as possible about the process of what you're looking to do, and the right people to connect to is the people who have done that process. My two main people I have that do our consultation for repatriation is Sister Imacus, owner of One Africa. She's currently in the States right now, so I'll make sure you get her number via text later on when we talk. And she was on the last two conference calls. Sister Imacus.
Just one person I would need to talk to.
Yes, and the main thing of when you're looking to make this kind of journey is to literally just to take the tour with us, and everything is in the tour. You get a chance to go around the country so you can see where you like to live, see the different regions, different flow, different feel of how the country is. And also, wherever we go, we have our people that have repatriated. Every single location we go, we have people there. So whatever region you like, that fits you, we have people there that can connect you even better. And when we do this business and investment conference during the first few days and the last few days, you get a chance to meet people who live and do business just in general, and also business Ghanaians, and also people that represent the investment office there in Ghana. You just have to really just put your research together. The videos that we have out from the previous conference, those help greatly. You can just always on my YouTube page type in repatriation or investment or any combination, and all the videos from 2011, 12, 13 and 14 comes up from the conference. I record all of them, so whenever anyone is ready to go back and take notes and everything, because it's something that you really want to make sure you're well organized and structured and ready to do. Anybody else, did that answer your question fully? before we continue?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, my name is Sister Azima out of St. Louis, and I do know Sister Fanta. We're both trying to come to Ghana, but I'm more interested in the investment and how that goes because I'm studying to be an investment broker. How do I find out information?
Yeah, how do you find out information on investment? The main thing that I would do is once you come on the tour, like I was telling Fanta, you get access to different aspects of people. But the initial setup is I have you talk to, it'll be David. David does more with the investments and real estate. So at the end of the call, if you can just text me or call me, I'll give you his number, and he's already expecting your call because I've already briefed him on everyone in general. Get everyone set up for the tour, but for the people who want to do investments and live in the country, we set up a consultation. That way he can have full clarity of everything you're looking to get done. That way we can hire the right people to do certain things and get everything done. So we cover all based off of what's needed to cover to make sure that your transition is successful. So I'll get both of you the information when we get off the call. And for also anyone that's interested in repatriation or investment consultation, just communicate with me directly after the call or just anytime after, and I'll talk with you briefly, and I'll get you their information and we'll get things going. Alright, anybody else have any questions before we start with the visa details? Alright, visa. The fourth article on the Ghana tour mission is the visa details, but at the same time too, what I've done is I've sent everyone a visa email. It's going to have 4 attachments. One attachment is my sample visa application, a blank application, and the requirements for a Ghana visa with the details. And then the 4th attachment is the my visa page of the multiple entry visa. Alright, the Ghana visa, you can access the details from our website. Once you click on the Ghana tour link, October 2015 is the 4th article, and it will give you all of the visa details. Now what I've done is I've sent everyone the Ghana visa email, and if you get the email, if you need me to resend it, you can always just text me or send me an email. And what we have on that email is all of the visa details, everything that you need to know, and this is just from us doing the visa every year from 2006 up until now. So what we have is my sample visa application, which give you the hotel, which is Michelin and One Africa. Those are our 2 main hotels, and give you all of the other details. All you need to do is swap my information out with your information and change your confirmation, and you can just print it out, sign your name, and make a copy of that one, and that's your 2 applications. Also, I have a multiple entry visa put in your passport. We're recommending that everyone get multiple entry, and the multiple entry give you 1 to 5 years plus, and it's based on discretion of the embassy. So as long as you get multiple entry, you won't have any problem. If you get a single entry, you must do your visa either the end of August or the beginning of September. Other than that, if you do it before that, there's a possible chance your 3-month visa will expire because it's only good for 3 months. So these are some of the things that's on the visa information, and I'm gonna just read through some of the information from the visa application and details. So what you're looking at a $100 money order payable to the Embassy of Ghana that you want to put in the package with your passport, your 2 visa application, your 2 passport style photos, and also they're requesting a bank statement. So I've had to do this 2 times, and what I've done is let's give a copy of the front page of a bank statement, which they want you to show your address, your name, that way they can match it up with everything else. If you have an account number on there, you can just always cross it out if you feel any kind of way, but it's no big deal. It's just the page is there for verification. So what you want to do, you want to put all of this together in a Priority Mail envelope, and then you want to purchase a prepaid Priority Mail envelope with tracking, or you can do FedEx or UPS. It doesn't matter. It's the same same process. Everything goes in one package. A return envelope. That way, when the embassy is finished with your passport, they put it in a return envelope. It's already has tracking, so once it's sent back to you, you can track it back to you. It's one of those things where I'm recommending everyone, before you send your visa off, just give me a call, and once you get it back, give me a call so we can do verification of it going out and coming back in. And if I'm calling you for verification, don't tell me that everything looks good. And I believe you, but the thing of it is, when we come to tickets, visas, yellow fever, or the documents that if you don't have one or one is not right, you're not going to enter the country. You know, we take that very seriously. We want to do as much as we can to make sure we verify and check over all the information. Like when I do things like naming certificates and things like that, or when we do the flights, I send it over to Ron, he checks it, and I double check it, because all you see in front of your pages is numbers and letters, numbers and letters. And you know, you look at a bunch of those after a while, it make you dizzy. So you know, you have to take a break from it, send it to someone else, look it over, and that's what I'll be doing, you know, throughout spring and summer, doing verification. Some people don't have passports, and you know, we're there to help you with any of those things you need help with. And I want to reach out to Ron. Ron, you did your visa. As a matter of fact, you did several visa applications for a few different people. How was that process? Did you have any problems with the information that I sent you to do the process of the visas for you and your group?
Well, that helped me. That helped me out quite a bit, Bomani. By having that information, all I had to do, like you said, all I had to do was just put my information in there, swap it out with yours or one of the travelers' information in, and we had great success with that. I didn't have one problem last year with that system. And anyone that needs any help, they need to speak up and contact Bomani or myself, and we can help you with the process if you run into a snag or you just need some getting that visa process accomplished.
I'm going to be doing the process. I know I'm going to be doing the process, so I may have questions, so I'll make sure I call you all.
Excellent, Fante. You know this. We're always on standby. Ready to get it done. The only thing we ask for people is don't everybody just want to decide to do everything at the beginning of October. You know, that's not gonna work. So just try to just get started as spring begin. That way, you know, we can just knock out have a few visas taken care of by summertime. Right now, we're just reaching out to everyone for questions on the visa process. I sent the visa email to everyone. Alright, Kofi Kelly, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Alright, did you receive the visa email?
Yes, sir, I did.
Alright, do you have any questions? Does everything looks good?
I don't have any questions right now.
Alright, cool. Does everything looks clear?
Yes, sir, it looks clear.
Alright, cool. Thanks. Appreciate it. Anybody else have any questions about you know, what we talked about, the visa, or did anyone not receive the visa email that I sent? Right?
I'll check my email when I get a chance.
Yeah, and anything that you don't have or you need, you just always shoot an email and I'll reply back, or shoot a text or something, and we'll get it out to you.
Okay.
Right. All right, and moving along.
Bonnie.
Go ahead.
This is Jonathan Smith. I received your visa email.
Excellent, Jonathan. And how does the visa email look to you?
Great. I applied, sending all the information that you had outlined on there, along with my actual passport, along with my Y passport. And I got a call from the Ghana embassy, and they said that they received it and they'll be processing it.
Oh, awesome. That's excellent. And all you did was just follow what the email said, right?
Exactly.
Oh wow, alright, cool. Yeah, sometimes I have to check. I just want to make sure I'm not crazy. Sometimes, you know, we do all this high-tech stuff and people think we make things complicated. But I tell people that I'm one of the technology specialists that our goal is always to make everything simple and easy, from websites to videos, everything. Huh?
I kind of questioned the Ghana embassy, and they said that they needed the actual passport because they wanted to put the visa inside of there.
Yeah, that's the way. I've done several visa applications during my travels, and that's usually what all of them tell you, that they need to put the stamp in it. So and that's why I tell everyone to send out your package in secure mail with tracking, and have it sent back in secure mail with tracking, and that usually cut down. And many things can happen, but that cuts down a lot of madness that could possibly happen. And then the fact that you do it ahead of time is you set yourself up to a situation where if something happens, it can be resolved and taken care of, before you travel. So appreciate you guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm asking something. You applied for the multiple visa, right? Multiple entry.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Okay, you're good.
Alright, cool, perfect.
You're good,
Excellent. Anybody else have any questions or like to weigh in anything on the Ghana visa?
Did you say multiple visa?
Multiple entry. Multiple entry means that your visa is good for at least 1 year, and you're allowed to travel in the country back and forth unlimited for that 1 year. A single entry means once you travel into the country, or once you had the visa for 3 months, the visa is done.
Oh.
Alright, perfect. And everyone also along the list on the Ghana tour, information on the website. We have preparation details, Ghana culture, customs, and what to pack and what to bring. Include things we also have is improving your immune system and English to Tree language translation documents. So these are our preparation information from building your immune system to just getting ready to explore your energy with trying certain words of the language. There's all preparation details that we have right there based on our travel experience. And then the ultimate go ahead.
I started taking garlic and echinacea to build up my immune system.
Keep it strong, brother. Excellent. Keep it going. Keep it going. And that list that we have has a lot of great information on there. And we're basically going through a lot of things in an overview because it's a lot of details. But we're letting everyone know what's in the information so you can take your time and read through it, and that will help you. And then you can always just go back to the information.
And also got my yellow fever shot, which was kind of an experience, but it was
wow.
good.
Yeah. I love your energy. You're ready to go. I'm trying to get everybody to catch up to you. But but perfect. That's what you need. You need the yellow fever. You need your visa. You're behind him. There you go. Because the good thing about it, Jonathan, is that when you put any medicine or the vaccination or any of these things into your body, you want to give your body a chance to work it in. What some of the doctors will tell you is to take it during like 2 or 3 weeks before you leave. And I tell people that I don't know how they figure to do that, because you don't want to be flying in a compressed cabin, breathing the same air as everybody else, and flying on a 10-hour flight with all kind of you don't know what they put in the medicine. It could make you sick. It could make you break out. And you don't have medical help directly like that on a flight like that. If you just have a breakout or something. So
the malaria gave me. They want me to a week before I go, 1 a day.
Yeah, and the malaria I can kind of understand because it's but nevertheless.
And an FYI on the yellow fever. The yellow fever card is good. Just for those who don't know, the yellow fever card is good for 10 years. So once you get that yellow fever vaccination, that card's good for 10 years.
That is excellent. Those are also some of the details that we have on what we call the departure and reminder list for the journey. So that was one of the attachments that I sent on the email. It literally talks about all of the need to know before you go. Talk about money exchange, recommendation of bringing that big bills, certain things to carry, how to carry yourself, things to avoid and things not to do. It give you it's 32 points, and it kind of summarizes a lot of the things that we've talked about over the years. Excellent list, and I've attached it to all of the conference call emails, along with our Africa for Africans presentation and the investment proposal. Next thing I want to talk about is Delta Airlines e-ticket access for our Ghana tour. Our access for these tickets will be ready towards either mid-August or end of August. And you'll be able to log in, and you'll be able to change your seats, you'll be able to add meals, you'll be able to upgrade, you'll be able to add your Sky Miles number so you can get credit for your flight, and many things. It's a nice easy access. You print out your e-ticket, you email it to yourself. It's just a full digital options. And talk about e-ticket, since we have our regular printed ticket, what we Delta set up for us, we just make the flight itinerary based on the e-tickets, and that's what you put in your package when you send out your visa. So it used to tell you to call me or email me or communicate with me, then I'll draft one up and I'll send it to you and you put it in your package. Just reach out to me when you're ready to do your visa, and I'll draft one up and I'll send it to you. Alright, does anyone have any questions about our Delta Airlines flight package, or anything about the travel from here to Ghana? And also wherever your closest airport is, that's what I have listed for everybody that I've talked to. So I'm booking a ticket from where your closest airport and back, as logistic as possible with the minimum layover as possible. And talk about layover and flights, what I want to do is just spend a minute to go through our complete flight itinerary. Now, flight leave from Atlanta Wednesday, October 28th at 6:30 p.m. and it goes directly to Amsterdam Airport, and we get to Amsterdam Thursday, October 29th at 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, for those who want to come out with me, what we're gonna do, we're gonna take the train into the city and kind of just maybe spend 2 hours in the city sightseeing, getting some brunch, getting some air. Once we fly into Amsterdam, we get to go out for a few hours, and once we finish, we just go back to the airport and meet everyone else. So we go from Atlanta to Prague via Amsterdam. All of the flights from wherever you are is going to connect into Atlanta, follow that route. We're leaving from Accra directly to JFK Airport, and from JFK we look to just get everybody direct flights from JFK. So that's our sequence of flight schedule, and this is laid out in details, flight numbers, times, and everything right there on the itinerary. Alright, Imicus, appreciate your energy. What we were talking about earlier was our lodging at the 4 different hotels. So I wanted to let you share the information about One Africa and about 3 days at One Africa, so everyone can just be clear on everything and be prepared to connect with you.
How many people you have online today?
Right now it is 12 of us.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right. I know y'all have, some of you heard about One Africa and some have been there, but it's our piece of paradise. It is a kind of magical place. I generally have to put people out of my place. They don't want to go home. And in fact, they pressurized Bomani because he only brought them there for 2 days. I thought they were going to have a meeting. So they were like, what? We're leaving already? Why are we going to Accra? He said, well, we got to go to Accra. Oh, no, man, we should have stayed here. So he increased the time to 3 days.
Incredible.
So his clients wouldn't want it. But it's a village. We've developed a small village, a little upscale. We don't tell people that they're going to stay in huts. We say you're going to stay in chalet. Because if we told most of our folks they were going to come and stay in a hut, they wouldn't come. Okay? So we have huts, they're called chalets, and they're nicely furnished. You have my website. You can go on there and take a look. The food is outstanding. Everybody that eats at our place says that the food they eat there is the best eaten since being in Ghana. Okay? So we got an excellent, very friendly staff, honest, and we offer massage, reflexology, Reiki, sea salt, steam bath, clay bath on beach. And so we do a lot of other things. Plus we have a museum on the site. And our objective is to make your stay the most pleasant of your trip. Okay? We want to be the highlight of your journey, though everything is going to be highlighted. Okay? But we're the icing on the cake, so to speak.
I like that. I like that. That's smooth.
So let me say this. We do not have televisions in our rooms. Don't come looking for none. Don't ask for none because we're not putting any in there. So there's no TVs in the room. We have no air conditioning, but we do have fans. We're on the ocean. We don't have hot water, but if you need us to heat you up some water, we will. And the water ain't cold. I mean, we're living in a village, okay? And a little upscale so that we don't frighten you all, okay? But so that's basically what it is. If we have programs scheduled for you, cultural entertainment, you'll get to meet some other folks who've repatriated, okay? And everybody calls me One Africa because they think that's my name. So that's the name of my business. But I must be my business because everybody calls me One Africa.
What they call you, Sister One Africa?
They call me Mama Cruz, Sister Imicus, One Africa. Most time people call Africa because often someone will say, oh, Imicus, and they'll say, Imicus. Say, yeah, One Africa. Yeah. So they call me Africa. I mean, I was there one day. Everybody's like, see, One Africa. Hey, One Africa. So the lady said, how come they keep only one? So the next guy we came to, I said, yo, my brother, come over here. He came over. I said, do you know me? He said, yeah. I said, what's my name? He said, Mrs. One Africa. Okay.
Wow.
So that's my name. So you're going to have a really, really great time. I guarantee you that. The only thing that I have to say about staying at One Africa, though, is if you have any complaints, please keep them to yourself. Okay?
I share to that. I share to that. And Imacus, you know, I'm gonna read a point from your book.
Y'all have been forewarned. Okay?
Yeah, Imacus, I gotta read a quote from your book, from your Points to Ponder book. I actually put this in my program as far as special reminders, and also preparation and departure list. And this one it say. Let me know if I'm right on point. When you visit, do not come with a romanticized notion about Ghana/Africa, or you will be disappointed and unnecessarily frustrated. Come with open eyes and an open mind, knowing that Ghana is a developing nation. There is much to do, and we can be a positive, contributory part of it. Keep in mind that Ghana/Africa is not America or Europe, nor do we want it to be. We're Mother Africa's children returning home, and we want to be a part of Mother Africa's growth and development. I just thought that was beautiful. That was just poetry.
Oh, good thing. I will make sure that if people, I will have copies of that booklet for sale in a couple of weeks.
All right, cool, excellent.
My revised version.
That's excellent. I want to reach out to someone that love your place, like she just love it. Natasha Ryan. Natasha, are you there?
Hey, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, Natasha.
Hey, Imacus.
Hi,
Natasha is looking to stay at your place for extended time, so I'm going to be talking with you about setting up some arrangements for us to stay here longer after we leave back and go to Accra. So I told her I have her on the priority list for this trip. I have her, you know, since we don't have a lot of chalets, I have her down at the Dr. Clark Chalet, Chalet number 1, the same one you stayed at, Natasha, in 2012. So I was letting you know that we got you and you're confirmed on that.
Now we just have to. How long do you want to stay?
Oh yeah, we looking. I think we talked about
extra week.
Extra week.
Okay.
Yeah,
it
so
shouldn't be a problem. What I'll do, because you know, as soon as you leave,
everybody else want to come.
Days behind you, somebody else comes.
Yes.
So, don't worry about it. I'll make it work.
Yeah, we're gonna talk in a few days. I'm supposed to connect with you in the next 1 to 2 days anyway. So we'll work it out. I just want to let sister know we have her covered. You know, but I really appreciate her calling, and out of everywhere else, she requested One Africa. So people, just tell you how special One Africa is. But Natasha, share some of the reasons why you love One Africa so much and why you want to stay for almost another week.
Well, Sister Imacus probably already hit on a lot of the points, and I can definitely confirm and validate everything that she said. You know, the biggest thing, you know, is she said that our peace of paradise, and that's exactly the way I felt when I reached there. It was towards, you know, the end of our tour, our last stop, you know, before we go back to Accra to get ready to head out. And I did not want to leave.
Wow.
And although it was 3 days, it still wasn't enough time for me, and it was just completely paradise. It was beautiful. It was also the best food that I had during the whole tour.
I shared that.
I'm vegan, so that was a little bit challenging for me, but I was very well taken care of once I got to One Africa, so that was definitely very comforting. And all those amenities that Sister Imacus mentioned that are not there, you don't even miss them. You don't even think about it. I mean, you have the ocean right there. You're listening to the wave. I mean, it's you know, a completely transformative experience. And
excellent, excellent, Natasha. Appreciate your information. And also, I want, how did it work out for him, and how was he once he went back to the U.S.?
I came with my son. He was 17 at the time, and it was definitely a great journey for the both of us. I think, you know, as we often try to get things to our children when they're young, in hopes that we kind of see those seeds, you know, mature down the line. But it was so immediate. Just him being in the midst of that experience, and I could see the transformation in him starting right on the journey, and then when we reached, back to the States, it was, I mean, he really became such a different person. He was so transformed by the experience, and so I'm really thankful that I was able to provide the opportunity to him, and I definitely encourage it, if anyone, has younger children to, and you have the means to do so, it's definitely, a life-changing experience.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
That's wonderful.
Excellent, Amicus. What do you say about all of that? This is what you created that have changed other people's lives. So many of us.
I just think that's wonderful. It's really good when you get feedback. And when I tell people keep saying complain to themselves, I'm serious. No, I'm not. But I mean, but to hear back how people have felt about what's going on just reconfirms that what the ancestors told me to do, I'm doing, and apparently are proving, and that is demonstrated by people's reaction to spending time in paradise. And the thing is that I was just thinking, since this Facebook, I was a Facebooker, okay, so anybody who's me at Facebook ain't telling when did he hear from me. I do that, I can't sit on that. I can't sit all day. I'm ready to hire somebody, okay? For a long time, I didn't know why I didn't have any friends. They told me I didn't invite nobody, so I didn't have no friends. So now I got more friends and I know what to do with. So I'm not a good Facebooker, but for those of you that are, who have been to One Africa, I think it would really be great marketing for me and advertisement if you would put your comments or short stories on Facebook about One Africa.
Good idea.
And that would help to generate some more business. So we would do two things. Bomani is getting you all to come, and then what you all are going to be speaking about with Bomani, but we're going to have a segment for One Africa, okay? Africa for Africans at One Africa. So people will put their comments out there on Facebook and Twitter and whomever else. That would be fantastic. It's just like people that read my book. I said, you all read my book? Go on Twitter, Facebook, holler over, tell them, yeah, you all need to bring this lady in and read her books, okay? So, I mean, because honestly, Bomani, we have a marketing tool in front of us, okay? And 99.9% of the people that have gone on your pilgrimages and spent time in One Africa have been satisfied.
Absolutely.
More than satisfied, absolutely.
Absolutely.
And if they ain't, they keep it to themselves. And black people, they like to complain. That's what people say.
Absolutely. And someone not say how great of a time they have, but if a bad time, they're going to say something.
Yeah. So, listen, so can we do that?
Yeah, we actually need to push more energy for people to leave comments and feedback.
People who have attended, so far, let's send an email blast out to them and say, this is what we're trying to do. Jump on your Facebook page and tell all your friends.
Absolutely, we need to grow our networks like that. And just have to keep pushing that. Because what we have done is we have recorded a lot of information with us, with everyone sharing their feedback on One Africa, which is great, which is actually ideal, because it's on video, it's on audio recording. But yeah, the text and the those things does help grow the page. So we'll make a push for that, definitely, Amicus. And as we talk about making a push, I want you to share with people your availability to do consultations, to do presentations, to do any of the different services that you offer professionally.
It's well, I have a service called pre-patriation counseling, and it's primarily for people who are interested in moving to Africa, looking to repatriate. And so I do counseling. It's just like a lawyer does counseling. You pay a fee for the counseling, and after our initial counseling, there's still follow-up. You can call me at any time, okay? So the thing that I generally ask for is still, I generally leave it to people themselves to say, okay, what did you get out of it? You know that it's what you wanted, fine. Then compensate me accordingly. So if you give me $500, I'll pay $500. If you give me $200, I'll take $200.
The more the merrier.
The bottom line is what I'm saying is that I don't have a set charge. I could say to you, okay, give me $200. But I'm not saying that. I'm leaving it more to your discretion and what it is that you got out of it, knowing that your payment is contributory. Let's put it like that. Okay. So if anybody's interested, you can call me, or if you know anybody that's going to Africa and needs some advice, because I have advice for them in terms of the law and things like that. And those are things that we really need to do, to know. And after 26 years of living there, I think that I'm not the authority, but I think I know a little something, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And what we tell everyone is, is worth it to come and talk directly with those of us who are expert, especially those of us who are humble and are waiting your call and are doing, we have set things up to where we make ourselves available to our people to do business with us, and we take this very serious as a mission from our ancestors to be in the right position to help you and put you in the right place. And at the same time, I was telling everyone that we do a lot of things and everything. The only thing that we charge is basically tours and consultation. That's like my IT bills. I do a lot of work, and I charge this for services and consultation. But we have the sharing love. All the information that we have in abundance is open. So I was talking to Fanta and her sister. They wanted to repatriate, and they was before you came in. Fanta, can you hear us? Fanta, can you hear us? They had
yes, I'm here.
Yeah,
I'm here.
Did you get Sister Amika's number? This is the person I was telling you about that does some process.
Can you tell me again?
Okay, it's 347 839 7262.
Repatriation counseling. I love the terminology, Amicus. That's great. And I want to let everyone know.
Because we, the thing is that we have to make a plan. Okay, it's not very wise to just jump up and say, well, that's it, I'm leaving on Africa. I think that's really great that you want to come, but you need to have a plan. Okay. Otherwise, you'll get there and you'll come back very, very disgruntled. And you'll be mad at Africa for the fact that you didn't do your homework.
Continue, Amicus.
Okay.
If you can just repeat what you said so we can make sure we hear you clearly.
Yeah, so what I was saying is that it's better that you have a plan, okay? So that when you go forward, you won't fall into some of the holes that some of us have fallen in, repatriation process, you see. So like I said, I'm available. You have my number. We can do a telephone counseling. We can do Skype, or we can do face counseling where you are. Right now, I'm in Georgia. I'm in Georgia. I'm all over the state of Georgia. Okay. So
in the Atlanta area, all right.
So you can give me a call. And we can set something up, okay? And like I said, don't worry about his fees. Well, how much is your fee? How much was it worth to you, okay? Did it answer your questions? And if I can't answer your questions, then I'll find somebody else that can. Okay.
Yeah, perfect. And Amicus, appreciate your energy, and I love what you're talking about, because that's what I tell everyone that calls me. And when I connect them with someone like yourself or David, I let them know straight up, because I let them know that if you're looking to make a life-changing move, you don't want to take shortcuts. You don't want to. You want to make sure you get on a plane that's going to get you there. You want to make sure that you do things that's going to make sure your journey is successful. You start taking shortcuts and start dealing with people who, number one, are not accountable, or people no track record, who just are not there for best interest. Then you put yourself in a bad situation. So reaching out to someone like I'm David, myself, this is what we do. This is what we've dedicated our life to, and it's very good for us that do this kind of work. I'm telling everyone, if you're looking to really make any kind of move and you're connected with us, look at all about and everything, and once you're with us, stick with us. That way we can effectively help you. There have been, over the years, there have been a few unfortunate situations with people who I've given consultation with and set them up, and you know, some situations where we do all the work and David is there and you get everything set up for them, and then they decide that they're gonna meet someone and they're gonna start doing certain things with someone, and they can at least call us and run things by us, and next thing you know, that person is out of thousands of dollars, or the personal apartment is empty, and on a different unfortunate.
The thing is that I always tell people, especially when they're talking about repatriating, if you're going to repatriate, you want to talk to people who are doing what you are coming to do. It doesn't make sense for me to go to somebody that doesn't know anything about this or me other than the fact that I'm a ticket to America, okay? So we should talk with each other, all right? I mean, you find good Ghanaian people, you find good people there, but you also find people there that are going to take advantage of your romanticized notion about Africa.
Absolutely.
And that's being honest. That's not trying to stop anybody from coming, but that's being honest. So you can't say that, well, nobody never told me that. I'm telling you. Okay.
Yeah, and as your
and it's
host,
not a bad thing. It's not to keep you from coming. It's just so that you come with open eyes and a clearer understanding of what's in front of you, you know.
absolutely, because I'm
And
always.
we've got a lot of success stories now. There are over 3,000 of us living in Ghana, okay? Living and working and there. And in our community in at One Africa, in our area, we have about 50 of us. No, it's more than that. Yes, about 70 of us in the Cape Coast Elmina area. And that'll be another surprise that we have for you. Okay.
Yes, Amicus, let me know if you have to go. Let me know if you have to go also, because I know you're available briefly. So I definitely understand.
Yeah.
All 7 from the state. All 7.
No, I'm brother Yaya. I'm on with Fancy. You were talking about 70 of you all in your little village area, right?
Yeah, in our community, within a 5-mile radius. 5-10
Oh,
mile
how many of y'all are from the state?
All of us.
Most of us.
Oh,
We're
really?
coming from the Caribbean, England, and America.
Yeah, the African diaspora, so they're from different parts of the. And I was letting the brother know that when you're talking about the people in your village, there are different people from different parts of the diaspora.
Areas around where there are pockets or communities of African diasporans all over the country.
And now, Amicus,
Okay.
is Ghana is that the highest? Does Ghana have the highest population of people that have repatriated in Africa?
That's what I understand. We have the largest community or largest population of diasporans. Now, there's another large group there in South Africa.
Yeah, I was gonna say South Africa is probably the next.
Yeah.
So Fanny, I guess to briefly share with you all there, like, at least there's some of us, a couple of us at least, that want to just move there. We just want to kind of like wing it, you know what I mean? Because we're tired of being here, and so we live in the Ferguson, St. Louis area, and it's just been like so repulsive being here in terms of like the treatment that people are receiving and the level of respect. The level of respect that, no doubt. So we just want to go. You know what I'm saying? And
well, let me say this. Okay, yeah.
Because I mean, me personally, I've had more than enough disagreements with the systematic things here, just the way it works. So I mean, I really feel like just the way things have been going in this area of the country and with the country in general, I think this is a great time to just get on about my business somewhere else. You know what I mean?
I don't disagree with you at all.
We just want to make sure that you're prepared. We just want to make sure that you're prepared in entirety, because you can make a fatal move and be frustrated with the system that you live in America, and then you make an unorganized move to Ghana, and then you're even more frustrated with that country, and then now you're coming back here complaining about Ghana.
There are several people, and like I said, I talked to a lot of people, and like yourself, who said, look, I've had it. I want the hell out of here. I'm ready to go case closed. I'm gone. If you jump, and I'm spontaneous to a point, okay, but we're talking about a life-changing decision, and not wanting to get over there. I mean, what I recommend to people, if you can, is come and visit. Come and spend an extended period of time to get an opportunity to know where it is that you say you want to go, because you might get there, and when they get finished with you, you're not going to like them. I'm serious. Okay. I mean, I just had a young man, I counseled he and his wife for about 6 months. They used to call me from 6 to 9 months all the time. I said, look, why don't one of you go? If both of you can't say, oh, we got that kind of money, we can't waste money doing that. So they packed up their stuff, he and his wife, his mother, and 4 children, and they came to Ghana. And I was really glad to see them. They stayed in Ghana 3.5 months, maybe 4 months, and they're back in America.
Wow.
Okay? All right. Now, I can give you a couple of stories, and that came of not being prepared, not having a plan.
Exactly.
And if you don't have a plan, you want to wing it, go ahead. So go with it. I mean, like I said, I'm spontaneous. I do stuff sometimes that people say I shouldn't do.
Yeah, and brother, it's good that you're calling us and telling us this. So now, Imicus, you can, once we close the call and everything, you can connect with her, and then, you and her can talk along with Fanta and the rest, and then you can put together.
And you need to understand about the laws that affect us. That's why I say remove them rose-colored glasses. Don't think that Africa's standing out there with her arms open welcoming us like that. We get welcome, but understand something. As we say in Ghana, Aquaba does not always mean welcome. And Aquaba means welcome. We say sometimes welcome does not always mean welcome. Okay.
I got you. All right.
So don't lose your enthusiasm. Just right.
Yeah, I'm
with us.
I'm giving it some serious thought. I mean, I just personally don't like it, though. You get up and go and be happy.
Yeah, and that's brother, and that's.
Well, let me say this.
I've also got some friends.
Yeah. So you say you also have what?
Okay. No, I was saying I also have some friends from this area who have visited Ghana, and one actually has moved to Ghana, and she lives in Senior Bereku.
Wonderful.
Are you familiar? So, but she seems to enjoy it, and she's even offered a space for us to begin at, which will be at her place.
Well, you ahead of the game then.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. All right.
You ahead of the game. You got somebody over there.
And so
that's what I'm talking about. Dealing with someone who is doing what you're coming to do. You got it in place.
Right. Okay. All right. Wonderful.
Yeah, you got it in place.
Hey, brother, what's
and
your...
just make sure that you understand the immigration laws. Okay. You can go online to the immigration services.
Okay.
And information is there.
All right.
But you need to be briefed about the law. Okay. And she'll do that for you, I'm sure.
And so, but and I also just really like at this point, part of the idea is to still stay well connected to you all, and see how we might be able to help one another.
Exactly. That's what we have to do, my brother. That's what makes it work.
Yeah. And our brother, can you repeat your name?
My name is Yaya.
But Imicus, I really appreciate your information, and one of the things I want everyone to know, what we're talking about is we're not being negative or anything. Is wherever you go in the world, if you decide to move to Brazil, Jamaica, or anywhere else, you're gonna have all kind of challenges and things, and if you're not prepared, that country is gonna eat you up. I've traveled to over 30 countries, and you have people who are successful, but again, you also have people who have attempted to be successful of being an expat or a repat somewhere, and it doesn't work out. But one of the main one of the main thing in the equation is the preparation, and we have went above and beyond by having all of these services and all these pre-recordings to give you details, to lay things out. To, you know, I even on the conference call email, I even attached a business proposal and a process of how a PowerPoint presentation of living and doing business in Africa, and certain things I've compiled over the period of time to help the individuals who are looking to make the move. But I always recommend you take the tour itself, because that's where you're going to get your maximum exposure. If you can't do that and you want to put put together a nice game plan with someone like Amicus and skip the tour, that's also fine. It's just, you just want to make sure, we just want to make sure that you're clear on all your options, and at the end of the day, it's up to you. And then whatever you decide, you want to make sure that that direction that you move into is successful, because the more of us that are successful. Oh yeah, absolutely. Whatever we do, like you mentioned, Imacus, your place is the halfway house. I like when you're interested to introduce it to us that way.
Oh yeah, sure.
All right, I want to open up things for a few questions from everybody for the next 5 minutes before we close on the call. All right, who have been quiet? Ron, before we start answering, getting calls. Ron, can you still hear us? Bizzle.
Yeah, good. I'm good.
Been quiet. Did you get a chance to weigh in on your time at One Africa, or did you say as much as you wanted to say? And I just want to know if you had anything else you want to share before we close out.
I just wanted to share with Sister Amicus, the Davis family, when they get a chance, they're building up some doggone momentum to come back. So they'll be looking you up in Cape Coast. They love the Cape Coast area so much. So the brother of the house, he'll probably be traveling. He's trying to travel back 2015 again, back-to-back years. So they really had a great time. Their young 12-year-old son, he's like the star of the school now. So he had a wonderful journey. And real quick, I had the brother Yaya, but just make sure you got your finances straight too, brother Yaya, because if those finances, if you don't have those finances, your death post will be tired of you.
That's right. Okay, hey, so because in all honesty, like, I don't have a lot of finances right now, that's for sure.
All right.
So, but like, but I mean, like I said, I feel like it's really imperative for me, that's how much I just want to leave here. That's just me personally. And Francis and I are coming together. And
yeah, brother, I'm happy for you.
No doubt, man, no doubt. I you know what, man? And I expect and I respect also the fact that I'm being warned I might not be welcome there, but of course you all know that we're not welcome here. Right?
No, but that's not what we're saying.
No. Let me say this.
That's not what we're saying.
No, please let me interject something here. Please. Coming from me.
And while she's talking, can you mute the...
It's not a warning. It's a sharing based on experience. That's all. It's not a warning.
Okay.
No,
So what would you all suggest, like, in terms of a minimum, in terms of finance that I need to bring with me if there was a group of 2 to 4 of us?
And how long are y'all are there to stay?
We're coming to stay. We're coming to stay.
And Imacus,
well, let me say this.
Go ahead.
My finances, and I'm one person, run me, I'm saying over $1,000 a month, okay? But there are a lot of things that I don't have to do, you understand? So it's over $1,000 a month for one person. Between you and your friend, you all decide what it is that she's going to charge you, if anything, to stay there. Okay, and tell me what I do if the person's not charging me, then here, let me give something towards the running of the household. Right. Recognizing that everything is expensive. It ain't cheap living there. It used to be cheap. It is not cheap to live in Ghana. So now 3.1 Ghana cedis to the dollar. Okay? So what I'm saying is that, and then there's your transportation costs, your food, those your basic expenses. And then if you're going to at some point rent a house, generally when you rent a house, they want 2 years rent in advance on the area that you're going to live in. Okay, so those kind of things.
And yeah, it
And
depends
I
on
don't know
the.
where your friend lives in Accra.
She lives in Senior Very Cool.
Oh, where?
Senior
Very
Very
Cool.
Cool.
Okay, okay. I know where she is. All right. Well, listen, guys, listen, the thing is that you've made up your mind and you have someone in place that's going to be able to assist you, then go for it.
Yeah.
No, it's not like you're going there blind.
Right, no doubt. Yeah.
And you're going to someone who knows you and is offered to help. Can't get better than that, my brother.
Yes, I
That's
do.
the ideal situation.
Yes,
And as long as everybody does their part, there would be no reason for there to be any confusion or animosity or,
There you go.
you know, saying I'm damn glad you're going. See, when I go someplace, I want people to say, oh, they don't want me to leave, as opposed to saying they damn glad I'm going. Okay, right, right. So, you know what it costs you to live here in the States? It's expensive living over there, but you can. Now, if you're willing to kind of downsize a little bit, you don't need 3-4 TVs and all the rest of that stuff, I think you'll manage.
Excellent, excellent. And
I think you'll manage.
and talking about manage, what I want to do before the last thing before we close, we want to tell we want to share some information on how you can commit yourself to this journey. Right now we need everyone's registration and deposits looking to go, so we continue what we've been doing, add to our numbers. Ron, you and I had a conversation. We were talking about how can you organize your finance and get ready for this journey and make sure that you're good to go while you're there in Ghana on the journey.
No, that's still, I don't need to get in people's pockets, their pocketbooks or their wallets, but some people need to should prepare their income tax returns of those sort, and try to put this trip, if you're serious about going to Ghana, try to put this trip priority on your list. And just cut out some of those other things that we do throughout the year in the matrix that the Europeans have taught us. You can break away from that for 1 year and give yourself a treat and take your journey of a lifetime and go over there to even Brother Yaya, go over there and see for yourself, and just use that money and put it in a priority shift. Invest it into yourself.
This is my thing. Like, I surveyed many people. You know, people that come and that visited, and always over there on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, I'm always looking at all these videos, and not living in a romanticized sense, but you know, like I said, for me personally, but I got you.
Yeah, you're pretty much like Sister Amicus and myself. But we don't want everybody to romanticize. But I know it's probably an upgrade for a lot of people just to get out the hellhole. But and I understand that. But just do your homework, do your preparation. That's all. That's what Sister saying. Make sure you're prepared.
Yeah, excellent. So I think he's taking in the information, which is excellent, and then he's saying that he's plugging into the YouTube videos and things like that. So at least he has somewhere to really build a foundation and move forward to. Versus some people.
But back to this deposit money.
Go ahead.
And people can prepare that as soon as possible, and start setting up a payment plan for the applicants so they can move forward. That's where we are right now at this point.
Yeah, because we need to lock in on the rest of the tickets and also lock in on reservations there in Ghana. So it's just a process of payment where when we get payments, we make payments, and by the time we get ready to leave, everything is taken care of and done. Same process we have used throughout the year, and it works effectively. The only thing I tell people is just be honest with us, because it's all work for us. So we don't want to be chasing anybody down. If it just doesn't realistically look good for you, just be honest, and we're clear on who's going and who's not going, so we can spend most of our time focused on the people that are going, especially the people that are looking to build business and do certain things.
Well, the people who are committed to this, when people make their initial deposit, that's your commitment. And until you make until you do that, we're there waiting for you.
Excellent. And the sooner you do that, the sooner we get things taken care of, and easier it is for us to just move efficiently. So I just want to share that with everyone. And once you get on the website, the registration and the payment options / payment plan is right there on the main menu with just a click of a button. And I'm available for all questions, and if you just need to communicate in reference to any of those information, I'm available throughout the daytime. So before I close, I just want to open it up for the last few questions on anything that we've talked about, or anyone who just didn't get a chance to share anything, or just had questions and didn't get a chance to get them answered.
I didn't have any questions, but I did want to thank you and the other sister, Bomani, for sharing, and really, really thank her for the emphasis on being prepared. And when she was talking to the brother, it really, really let me see and let me appreciate it and really look into that. So I think that's very sound advice, because it reminded me when I moved from up north to down south, I didn't prepare, and so that experience, I was like, okay, it made sense. And then I was listening to the brother. I was just like him. I wanted to move real quick. That's not the case now. I'm going to Africa, but I do get what you're saying, so I really appreciate that on the being prepared, and I totally get that. So
yeah, appreciate you, Oshawn. And as you and I was talking earlier today, and it wasn't, and I was, me and you were joking about a few things, but it wasn't to talk in a negative way. It's it's like you talk about being prepared. We can go anywhere and you get entranced by it. You go to the website and you see all these beautiful pictures of Africa, of Ghana and everywhere, and it looks great and everything, but at the same time too, there are things that you have to be aware of. Like you have to be aware of the smooth, I call them the smooth talkers. Amicus we probably have many stories we can share with people about smooth talkers who come and say they love you and this and that, and just trying to get into your pocket, or trying to get a visa. So none of us know who is who, but we tell everyone, make sure you get to know everyone that you're dealing with. Make sure you do your research, and make sure you analyze people that you're dealing with, because anyone can play a game on you. But if the documentation and certain things just don't add up, that means it's a game. And if it does, the person might be a real person. Yeah?
Yes, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, thanks, my sister, for that, and I can appreciate that. It's nice.
All right. If no one else have any questions, I appreciate everyone's time. Once again, this is Bomani Tyehimba, your conference call administrator, and I'm here on standby to get everything set up for you for your journey of a lifetime, and answer all your questions, and make sure that you have a very successful connection to Mother Africa. So don't be shy, reach out to us, and let's keep checking the documentation, and we'll keep in touch.